All right, it's day 3 of the 2023 NFL Draft, and the San Francisco 49ers just made their 4th overall selection in this draft class. We're breaking it down on the 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr., and today's show is presented by Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping on the best men's grooming products. Products for you below the waist, but also their new beard products as well, which I'll tell you more about coming up here just around the corner. It's manscaped.com/49ers. So in the 5th round of the NFL Draft, San Francisco addressing a need here in Darrell Luter Jr., the cornerback out of South Alabama. This is a pretty interesting pick for San Francisco. We know that Adam Peters, the assistant general manager who's interviewed with a couple of other teams across the National Football League to be their team's general manager, oftentimes likes to get in his bag on day 3. And with these mid to late round picks, oftentimes he likes to target a lot of players from smaller schools who are lesser known prospects. What's cool about Luter, he was a 0-star recruit coming out of high school. Started off the community college route at Pearl River Community College in Mississippi, then played his last 3 years at South Alabama. He comes to the Bay Area at 23 years of age. He was a senior, so he exhausted all of his collegiate eligibility. He certainly crosses off a lot of boxes here with size, length, and athleticism. He's 5'11", 3/4 inches, 189 pounds, according to our NFL draft expert Tom Downey. This was his 21st ranked corner and his 141st overall player. So San Francisco, according to Downey here, getting pretty good value with the player who goes at 155. Our scouting report on him: quality tackler who's not afraid to put his helmet on the ball carrier, which sometimes can create some turnovers. Very good maturity. So the Niners get a player who is mature and doesn't have any character issues, does have some leadership qualities. His teammates at South Alabama calling this guy a leader and a dog. He is comfortable covering in man-to-man, so you can leave him out on an island on the outside, and because he's feisty, because he has that swagger and that confidence, he can fight through a lot of battles with opposing wide receivers. Pretty good length, but a little bit slight and a wiry frame, who does lack a little bit of agility, but I tend to think that he's a little bit of a better athlete than what some people give him credit for. Last 3 years, 2020, 11 games, 0 starts, and in the last 2 years, he has combined to start 23 games for South Alabama. In 2021, he was a first-team All-Sun Belt player who led the team in interceptions, pass breakups, and missed the final 2 games because of injury. Then he comes back in 2022 and was a third-team All-Sun Belt player. So with that, still a lot to get to with this selection of Darrell Luter Jr., cornerback out of South Alabama. But this will be our pinned comment on today's episode. Grade the pick. A, B, C, D, or F, we want to hear from you down in the comment section right now. As for his pre-draft testing numbers, he did partake in the NFL Scouting Combine, which is pretty impressive, right, for a small school guy. Oftentimes, they don't get invited to the NFL Combine, but NFL draft evaluators did believe that Darrell Luter Jr. was worthy of getting drafted at some point. Solid speed, 4.46 40-yard dash, vertical jump of 40.5 inches. That's really good. Broad jump of 10 feet 3 inches. So goes to show you that I think he's a better athlete than what people give him credit for. And you address a need here as well. San Francisco, they like to identify some of these lesser known players, and they're doing it here. In 2022, he had 42 tackles, 1 interception, 7 pass breakups, and 0 forced fumbles. And now San Francisco going with the secondary with a couple of their selections so far. 2 secondary picks in 4 picks. You move up to take Jair Brown, the safety out of Penn State, and now you get Darrell Luter. The athletic Stain Brugler on Luter. He won't be an ideal fit for every scheme, but he is athletic, long, and unfond of receivers who think the catch point belongs to them. That's that toughness and that feistiness that I was alluding to a little bit earlier. He projects as a man coverage NFL cornerback with the skill set to work inside or outside. And with this pick here, I think that there are some fingerprints so far from defensive coordinator Steve Wilks There was a phone call that happened between Steve Wilks and Jair Brown, and he said, we're really excited to get you. We love your makeup. We have some dogs on this defense, and you can be a part of that DNA. Steve Wilks has a defensive background. So you get Jair Brown, defensive back, and Darrell Luter, defensive back here as well. We'll go more into the player coming up around the corner and take a look at all of the Niners draft picks so far, with a few left to get to here on day 3. We'll be talking about those as well. But today's show is presented by Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/49ers. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. The NFL draft is here. And the most exciting prospect is the prospect of being perfectly groomed head to toe with our friends at Manscaped. They have long had elite downfield play like Brandon Ayuk with their Lawnmower 4.0, but in 2023, they have the rookie sensation beard hedger to ensure the face of your franchise is a pretty one. This 1-2 punch of men's grooming, the best acquisition for any at-home general manager. So go to manscaped.com/49ers and you can save some salary cap space with our code 49ers for 20% off and free shipping. This year, Manscaped can help you make the sexy pick without forgetting about your big uglies up front. That's right, the Beard Hedger and Lawnmower 4.0 are a franchise-changing combo like Nick Bosa and Deebo Samuel in the same draft back in 2019. You've now done the dirty work, and now it's time to make sure that you look good out there with the Beard Hedger and its 20 positions of precision. You can go from a sloppy Matt Patricia to looking fresh like Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan. Manscaped.com/49ers, promo code 49ers for 20% off and free shipping. We're going to put that link in the comment section and in the description of this video. So Luter here, he checks the boxes for length and speed. He's at his best in man-to-man coverage, which is what the Niners like to do pretty frequently. He used various press techniques based on the wide receiver. So he's not afraid to get up in your mug and get up in your face at the line of scrimmage. Looks to mix things up with his long arms, which forces the receiver to match that physicality. And sometimes people aren't about that action, boss. He's an explosive leaper to close jump ball windows. So he has good ball skills and can turn his head around to address the football mid-air. Physical in run support, which is what I also like about his game, because he'll come up to the line of scrimmage or he'll hit you at that second or third level, making a good tackle. With an excellent track record as a tackler, already has a mature lifestyle, juggling his marriage and family with school and football. Pretty impressive here at his age. High school and college coaches rave about him as both a person and a leader. Solid ball skills and big hands only help his chances of disruption. And you look at the numbers there, the disrupting skills, that's why he was able to have 7 pass breakups. So the updated 49ers draft and offseason profile here. A couple of big additions in free agency, none bigger, literally and figuratively, than Javon Hargrave, who had 11 sacks last year for the Philadelphia Eagles. Sam Darnold, Jake Brendel, Isaiah Oliver. You lost Mike McGlinchey. You still haven't addressed right tackle. It looks as though it could be Colton McKevitz. It could be Nick Sakel. It could be Matthew Pryor. You lost Jimmy Ward. You replaced him with Isaiah Oliver and now Jair Brown to a certain degree. You replaced Jimmy Garoppolo with a cheaper player in Sam Darnold. You lost Azeez Al-Shire. Don't sleep on linebacker potentially. Draft needs here. Still need an offensive tackle. You checked off the box there for safety and tight end. Maybe they go edge rusher at some point. Can't sleep on a running back either. Let's run through the Niners picks here. Jake Moody is really the most surprising one, right? And it's the one that has a lot of people up in arms. Let me say this about Jake Moody. Was the pick of Jake Moody a little bit early? Yeah, it was. To take a kicker in the 3rd round, it's the earliest that a kicker has been taken since Roberto Aguayo was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 2016. But Jake Moody has a big leg, and he can oftentimes knock through field goals from 50-plus yards and had a pretty impressive career at Michigan. In his time there, 148 of 148 on extra points, as I tweeted out a little bit earlier. Give me a follow there at Chase_Senior. 69 of 84 on field goal attempts, 82.1%. That's a little bit shaky. He tied the Michigan program record with 50-plus yard field goals throughout his career with 4. He went 4 of 10, hit a 59-yarder in the college football semifinal against TCU. So he does have that big leg and big game experience. at 101. San Francisco addressed that tight end need with Cameron Latou, who is a little bit of a spotty blocker. I think there's room for growth there for sure. This guy is a massive, massive prospect, though, who stands really tall. He was one of the only players in this draft class to get invited to George Kittle's tight end university, which is where tight ends go to develop their crafts. And then Jair Brown went to the Niners as well. That's a pick that I really liked. And by the way, we've talked about all of these selections here on the show, so you can go back and watch those. And at the end of the draft grades coming up for Jair Brown, he said to John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan and Steve Wilks, "You made the right decision. I promise you, this guy has a knack for making big plays. And like Talanoa Hufanga, you can use him as a chess piece on this defense." As for the top offensive tackles available, we'll stick here because the Niners can get a good player here with their picks coming up right around the corner. Jalen Duncan had a third-round grade from a lot of people. Ryan Hayes is a Michigan player who I really like. Warren McClendon, offensive tackle out of Georgia, and then Asim Richards, the top offensive tackles available. I think the Niners need to address offensive tackle. Why wouldn't they? Who do you want the Niners to draft next? Drop us a name down below in the comment section. As always, we want to hear from the faithful. We're kicking it live here on the 49ers Report, so if you're watching this after the fact, come out and hang with us. Couple more picks for the Niners here on day 3, and we'll be breaking it down here on the show.